The first earthly home of Jesus was a poor stable in Bethlehem. 16 centuries later, in the little town of Rouen, France, the Word made flesh finds another home. 3 French women come together in poverty and simplicity. Jeanne de Matel and 2 friends. The small community gives him welcome on earth once again, in a congregation honoring his divine person and his humanity, the incarnate Word.
Good morning. I'm Sister Brenda Thompson. I'm director of the Heritage Gallery at Incarnate Word Convent. This morning, I'd like to share with you the story of the feast of the death of our foundress, Jeanne de Matel. Our sisters will celebrate this day with a special Mass, with prayers, and a special meal. Now, you might ask, why do we celebrate this feast when someone dies? Well, it's because we've loved that person and because of their effect on our lives. It's important for you to know, in the city of Lyons, where our order was founded, we can begin to trace a portrait of the life of Jeanne de Matel.
She was born on November 6, 1596, in Rouen, France. Her father was a nobleman, and her mother was distinguished for her great intellect. Jeanne was the 5th of 8 children. She was the joy and charm of her family. As a happy young child, she also developed a great love of Christ through her reading and prayer with her family. On her 15th birthday, she began her life in society, and during that time she struggled with her prayer life. This struggle did not last long, however. She soon began to prepare herself to offer her life to Christ.
July the 2nd, 1625, was the beginning of our order. Jeanne went to Mass with 2 of her friends who also wished to offer their lives to Christ. They moved into an old building previously abandoned by the Ursuline community. It was there that she was chosen to be the superior, sister in charge of the little group. Jeanne traveled to Lyon to obtain from the Archbishop approval of the foundation at Rouen. She drew up a petition asking the Holy See in Rome to approve the order. 5 years later, Pope Innocent X confirmed the approval. Jeanne founded 4 Incarnate Word houses in Rouen, the home of her childhood.
The summer of 1670 was most difficult for Jeanne. She had been traveling to ensure the security of the order in its many houses. On the evening of September 10, 1670, knowing she was dying, she requested permission to receive the habit of the order.
As still the tradition for us today, the sisters gathered around her bed to comfort her and pray. Finally, at 10 p.m., Jeanne began to rest a little more comfortably. The doctor encouraged the sisters to leave the room and take their own rest. 2 sisters remained at bedside along with the priest. The sisters, seeing that Jeanne was near death, hurried to gather all the other sisters again to return to her room. When they were assembled, the priest recited the prayers of the dying. She died at 1 a.m. on the 11th of September. She was 73 years old.
Her body was brought to the chapel so that the many friends of the sisters could come and pay respects. 2 days later, the doctor came and removed her heart that was sent to Lyons, where it remains encased in the archives.
After the funeral service, her remains were interred at the foot of the altar. Jeanne died as she had lived, noble, courageous, and humble, in the face of all the opposition and persecution she had suffered in her efforts to begin the order of the Incarnate Word. So today our sisters serve throughout the world with joy and great love. As often as possible, we all gather at different host locations for sharing, long-term planning, and of course, just the fun for being together.
These are reunions that took place in Mexico and other in Victoria in 2019.
Today, we celebrate the 352nd anniversary of Mother Jeanne de Matel's birth into heaven.
The past academic year marked the celebration of the 150th years of the existence of Incarnate Word Academy in Corpus Christi.
To conclude this celebration, we, the Sisters of the Incarnate Word and Blessed Sacrament, were privileged to host the 24th International Reunion for 11 Incarnate Word congregations from Mexico and the USA. After a long hiatus due to the pandemic, the gathering was a grateful celebration of unity, joy, and interculturality.
Venerable Jeanne de Matel said, "The Incarnate Word Christ and you are a Christ bearer. Create the next phase of your Incarnate Word academic journey to be grateful and for the blessings received."
Map
showing
where
our
order
serves
throughout
the world.
Praise be the Incarnate Word.
Now and forevermore. Amen.